layoffs, employee perks, hiring freezes are now commonplace. People pulling job offers. That's happening more and more every day. And so there is a push now to force employees' hands because they've been afraid. Leaders have been afraid to say, no, you're coming back in the office. They were afraid that they'd leave them. But now they feel like, hey, I got a little more leverage. They're changing their tune. Watch this.
What's the new normal? Is it coming into the office 4 days a week? Is it flexible? Is it work from home more freely?
I think it's very, very specific to what you do. If you're a tax attorney who doesn't work with other teams, then obviously you can spend a lot more time by yourself. Doesn't matter if you're in an office or not. I mean, there are different kinds of jobs is where I'd start with. The main point is, post-COVID, we learned you can function. I ran Morgan Stanley for 3 months from my home office, right, with 73,000 people. So it's pretty remarkable. We proved you actually can do it by not going into the office. But should you do it by not going to the office? Now, that clearly, to me, the big answer to that is no. We won't put the genie back in the bottle. 5 days in the office for everybody is not going to happen again. For some people, of course. And at Morgan Stanley, we're kind of business unit by business unit. It's 3 or 4 days in the office. My rule has always been on this. If you're not spending a majority of your working time in the company of your colleagues, you are missing out on mentorship, on development, on EQ, on just reading the signals of being in a meeting and watch how people, handle the stresses that go on and the unspoken body language and so on. So it's 3 or 4 days a week. I don't think that changes in a hurry. Some people in some businesses, our trading floors are cheek to jowl. You go in there, they're 5 days a week. So
now in this clip, he does not say what is in this Forbes article, which is a whole lot stronger than what you saw James Gorman say in that clip. He went on to say he's talking about employees, don't get to choose their compensation. He's right. He says they don't get to choose their promotion. He's right. They don't get to choose to stay at home 5 days a week. I want them with other employees at least 3 to 4 days. So this is a big-time player, chief executive of Morgan Stanley, who said, for 3 months, I did run the company from my home office, but it is not best. That was a necessity at the time. It is not what is best going forward. And he's saying hybrid is here to stay. So it's not a complete return, but it is a return. Let's go on. Chief Executive David Solomon of Goldman Sachs, Jamie Dimon, Chief Executive of JP Morgan, have never fully embraced remote work. They have, in fact, settled on hybrid work. CEO of Disney, returning CEO Bob Iger, one of his first orders of business was to bring back workers to the office 4 days a week starting March the 1st. More context. Some of these layoffs, not some, most of these big company layoffs are a function of two things. These big companies during the boom of the pandemic and then the year after 2020 and 2022 when, it was just a boom. Business was crushing it. Consumers were spending big time. Well, they staffed up, which is what they always do. To try to make hay, if you will. Take advantage of a strong tailwind behind them. And the minute that a recession gets forecasted, the stock market changes. That's all speculative investing. It is what it is. But while it doesn't have a whole lot to do with reality sometimes, it's just speculation. These public companies they're running their business based on that speculative stock purchase or sale. I mean, so I'm selling it or I'm buying it. And so what do? They start slashing real people because you are not valued. You are representative of an expense. So they'll cut you. Now, some have blamed remote work for some of this, but I think that while maybe true, it's not completely on the backs of remote work as to why you're letting people go. But just because it's not necessarily true doesn't mean they won't do it. And so here's my warning. And folks, I'm going to tell you something. I am legitimately concerned about the amount of social unrest to the likes that we've never seen it before in this country. I hope that I'm wrong because I'm scared if I'm right. And here it is. The supercell, the big storm that's offshore right now, threatening to come absolutely create havoc and destruction of people's lives is this. If there continues to be the tension between these big companies and their employees who don't want to come back into the office, who would prefer remote work or are pushing back against hybrid work, the research is already being done. Big companies are already looking at this, and they will choose expenses over people every day of the week and twice on Sunday. In other words, they will cut you to save money before you can even blink. And let me tell you how it's going to happen. Once companies realize that the pivots that they had to make during the pandemic to create efficient work from home, and they realize that if they can't get you back in and it's a fight, they're going to go, all right, we're going to farm your job. They're going to send your job, your American job, overseas to somebody in a foreign country who can do it remotely for half of what they pay you. Do you think that they're not already kicking this idea around? I remember seeing hourly workers protesting in the streets in California, and I remember watching that going, keep it up. Keep it up. And the job that you're demanding $1 or $2 more an hour, they're going to replace you with a robot. And you can go to New York City right now and walk by a McDonald's just a block or two off of Times Square, and you won't even see a human anywhere in there unless you were to go behind the counter and look at who's cooking the burgers. Everything's kiosk. Everything is this. So here's my point. All good leaders prefer the human touch. These CEOs, and I've criticized Diamond for monitoring people and doing what I believe is nannyship, not leadership. But all these leaders want collaboration. I spent several hours with the CEO of Gallup in Washington, D.C. just 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about their data. And the data proves that it is better for people to be in the building together collaborating. So these people want to do what's best, but let me tell you something. You push them and push them and push them, and they're going to take your job. You white-collar worker that you're making six figures plus, and they're going to ship your job overseas, and you're going to see potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of white-collar workers sitting at home with no employment, and it is going to create sheer havoc and social unrest, I'm afraid.